Hi, it's little Lisa. Thought I'd share with you today. I was going to make some granola, so I thought I'd share how I do it. I'm using already sprouted organic oats. I need six. I'm doing a double batch, so I'm going to use 6 cups of oats. And I like these sprouted oats, excuse me, because um, grains and things like oats have a lot of phytic acid in them, which is sort of like doesn't allow you to digest very well, and it binds up their minerals, and so therefore it's harder for them to be bioavailable. So by sprouting, it kind of helps it so that all the minerals and vitamins in the oats are absorbable by your body. All right, there's 6 cups. And I got these at Costco. They were on sale, actually, which was a good deal. I'm just going to move this out of the way. And then I'm going to add to that, so it's 6 cups of oats and 4 cups of miscellaneous nuts and seeds. So I have some organic sprouted pumpkin seeds I also got at Costco. So I'm going to do a couple of cups of those. And same reason, sprouted. And so you can soak things or sprout them to help get rid of the phytic acid. But obviously when you're making granola, if you soak it, then it's wet and you'd have to like re-dehydrate it before you made it into granola. So it's easier for me to start with the sprouted. So I've got 2 cups of that, and then I'm going to add a cup of, I have cashew pieces. These are raw organic cashew pieces that I get from Azure. I use them to make cashew milk, but I thought they'd be good in here. So I'm going to add a cup of those. And then I'm going to add a cup of pecans, which I need to chop up a little bit. I'm going to do kind of a heaping cup. I like nuts and I love pecans, so I don't mind if there's a few extra nuts in here. I just put them on my cutting board and then just kind of rough chop them with a knife. I don't want too small pieces or they'll burn when we're cooking this. Oh, this granola, we use it and make like a trail mix. So after it's all finished, I will store it in some jars. And I add to it to make trail mix. We just add dried fruit, organic dried fruit, different, whatever you like. We have all kinds of different things: cranberries, cherries, dried blueberries, raisins, figs, dates. So anyways, just whatever combination of dried fruit we like. And then sometimes we'll add some dark chocolate chips. Make like little trail mix packets to take when we go places or for a snack. I also love it on I love putting the granola on my yogurt. We make homemade yogurt. It's delicious for that too. All right, so there's my pecans. So we're done with that. And then I need to add a cup and a half of unsweetened coconut flakes. And I forgot to open this package. So these are the bigger flakes. The shredded tends to burn, so I like to get the bigger flake coconut, and you don't want sweetened because we're adding sugar. It smells so good. So these are just unsweetened organic coconut flakes. So we're going to do a cup and a half, approximately. You don't have to be perfect amounts. It's fine. Okay. Here's a cup. Add that. I'm just going to guesstimate like a half. Pretty good. All right, so there's the coconut. And then we're going to we're going to stir this together. And then we're going to add, I'm going to get this out of my way. Just mix all this up. And then I'm going to make the part that sticks it all together. Pretty good. All right, so now we're going to make, and I'm going to put it in a pan and then heat it up gently just because I'm using coconut oil, which tends to be solid at room temperature. So I need a total of a half a cup of oil. So I'm going to do a quarter cup of the coconut oil and a quarter cup of olive oil. You can use all olive oil. You can really use whatever oil you like. I like the flavor that the coconut oil gives. It kind of gives it a sweetness to this, but if you want, you can just use olive oil, or avocado oil would work. Pretty much any healthy oil will work. Okay. All right, and then I need a half a cup of honey, and my honey is really thick too because it's raw honey, so I'm going to do that with this measure cup. If I can get it open. Okay, and then I need a nice long-handled spoon, which this is a huge spoon. I don't know. Nope, it won't fit in there. Shoot, I wanted something long-handled. Guess we'll try this. See if this will work. This might not be long enough handle to get in the bottom here. All right. Luckily, I have small hands. So I kind of get in there. I might have to find a longer handled. Okay. Do you have a longer handled? I'm going to have my husband find me something longer handled. Hold on. Yeah, this is longer. Let's see if it'll get it out. There we go. It's going to take a while. Might be better off. I probably should stuff the whole jar in some hot water. We buy this honey at a local farm in these big jars, and when it gets to the bottom, it's difficult to get out because it's sticky. I won't waste what's left in this jar if I can't quite get it all out. I will just get a pot of hot water and stick it in there and melt it, and then pour it into the newer jar and use it for when we have like tea or something. But I got the majority of it out of here. So what's left I'll have to melt out. Waste not, want not. There we go. That's pretty good. Pretty close. I think we just did it. It was just the right amount. Now I'm all sticky. Okay, so we're going to pour this in here. Okay. And then we need a half a cup of maple syrup. So I'm going to measure. We get the maple syrup from the same farm we get the honey from. And we just pour it from the gallon into this little maple syrup jar just to keep it in the fridge because it makes it easier. So this is actually from Polka Round Farms in Ortonville, Michigan. All right, a half a cup of this. And I'm going to use this to make sure I get it all out. It's liquid gold, so we do not want to waste any of this maple syrup because it's quite pricey, but so worth it. Okay. A little bit more in there. Okay. So there's that. And then we are going to do the quarter cup of olive oil. Okay. So I've got a little bit more. And actually, I should have probably measured out the olive oil first and then the maple syrup because the oil would have coated the cup and helped the syrup come out easier. But I wasn't thinking. So it's okay. I got it all out. There we go. All right, so we've got our half cup of oils, half cup of maple syrup, and half a cup of honey. And we're gonna heat this up real gentle, just enough to melt the honey in the maple syrup. And then we're gonna add the rest of the ingredients and pour it over our oat mixture. Melt this raw honey and the coconut oil. If you use all olive oil and your honey is already liquidy, you don't need to heat this up. You can just mix it like in a measuring cup or a little bowl and mix it all up well. But since mine is pretty thick because the coconut oil is hard and the honey is pretty thick, I'm going to just gently heat it. It's getting there. Now I'm going to grab, oh, my cinnamon fell out. Okay. I'm going to grab some cinnamon. The recipe that I used was off of soupandsaucer.com originally. I'm doubling it, and she doesn't put cinnamon, but I like cinnamon in my granola, so I'm adding cinnamon. Okay, so it was just a couple minutes on low, and everything is all melted together, as you can see. And I just put a trivet just to protect my counter because the pot is hot, although the stuff isn't super hot. All right, so now I'm going to add my vanilla extract. This is my homemade vanilla extract. It calls for this double batch 4 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I'm just going to use a tablespoon, which is 3 teaspoons, because my vanilla extract is basically like a double strength. So I don't think I need all 4 teaspoons. I'm just going to do a tablespoon. And I think it'll be plenty because mine's pretty potent stuff. And I need to refill my jar. Okay, so I'm going to stir that in. And the reason that I put this in after I heated up this mixture is vanilla extract is an alcohol base. It's vodka. So I did not want to put that on the heat and have a chance of flame. You probably could and it would be fine, but I find it better to put it in off the flame, off the heat, just for safety. And I think it helps not destroy the compounds. So we've got the vanilla extract, and then we need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. It calls for kosher salt. I'm using sea salt. I need a measurement. So I'm going to use a scant 1.5 teaspoons because this is a little more potent salt than the. There we go. I don't have any kosher salt handy, so we're just going to use this. So I just put this in, and now I'm going to add some cinnamon because I like cinnamon in my granola, and I'm going to put this, just shake it in here and mix it. I'm going to do a teaspoon and a half. I think it'll be fine. And this is organic Saigon cinnamon, so it's pretty potent. We're just going to pour it over the top of here and mix it up really well, and then put it on our baking sheets. Got one little clump. Get rid of all the clumps of cinnamon. Cinnamon likes to clump. I could have probably put the cinnamon in with the oats, but I was afraid that it would all kind of fall to the bottom of the bowl and not mix up as well if we did it that way. So this just takes a little extra stirring. Okay, we're good. All right, so I'm going to pour this over my mixture. Just scrape it all out. Okay, so I put it in the bowl. Now I'm going to get this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to use this spoon to mix. I think it'll be better than the spatula. I'm just going to mix this all together so it's all coated. Good. I can smell the cinnamon and the vanilla. Just want to make sure all the stuff on the bottom is coated. There aren't any dry bits. Okay. Now I'm going to do sheet trays. I'm just going to scoop it on here. Here, I'm going to move this out of my way. That way we can see what I'm doing. All right, we're just going to spread it on here. Might be easier. Not sure. It says 2 trays, but I doubled it, so I'm not sure if I'm going to need 3 trays or 2. I'm hoping I can get away with 2 trays. You just want a even layer, like you don't want it piled up too much. Okay. All right, that looks good. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, I'm going to do the next tray. All right, so we have a second tray here. Let's see. We might need all 3 trays. Let's see how this goes. Let's see. Maybe not. And I have soap pads on these trays. If you don't have like a silicone mat or something, you could just put parchment paper down. I mean, you can just do it on an online tray, but I think it's going to be harder to get off it when it's done cooking because this is sticky. And you're basically baking it, I should say. Okay. Let's see. I think we're going to need the 3rd tray. I don't want to overfill it. You want room to be able to turn it because you have to basically stir it every 20 minutes while it's in the oven. I may need this spatula. Hold on. I don't want to miss any of this goodness, so I'm going to scrape it right out of here. Okay. All right. So this tray may cook a little sooner since it doesn't have as much on it. But that's okay. I'll just keep an eye on it. And just spread it out nice and even. Scrape all off. Okay. All right, so now we're going to pop this in a 250-degree oven. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes, and every like 15 to 20 minutes, you want to stir it. I'm just going to take a spatula and kind of turn it over, and then put it back in, and then do that like every 20 minutes. And you're going to cook it for probably between 75 minutes till it's nice and brown and crispy and dry, and it'll be like all in a clump. So we'll come back when it's finished. Okay, so my first 20-minute timer went off, so I'm going to remove these from the oven to turn them. I just feel like it's easier to do it than in the hot oven and letting all the heat out. And I'm going to rotate the trays as I do it. So I'm going to do 2 at a time, and then I'll do the last one. So I just basically take a spatula and kind of just flip it over, kind of stir it as I go, and spread it back out. That's all there is to it. You just want to kind of keep turning it and spreading it back out. It's still fairly moist at this point, so it'll dry the longer it cooks. Okay, do this tray. My oven doesn't heat very evenly. I think part of it's that the floor is not level. Can't really level it, long story, but so the bottom rack always seems to cook on the bottom faster and the top rack cooks on the top faster. So I always rotate my sheets, but if your oven's fairly even, you probably don't have to worry as much about that. And I'm going to set the timer for another 20 minutes. Okay, so the second 20 minutes has gone by, and I'm just going to flip this again. And then kind of spread it back out. It's definitely getting browner. Okay, so this tray is ready. I'll stick it back in. This one's going to go on the bottom. Now I'm going to start setting it for 15 minutes just because I don't want it to get overdone. It says 70 minutes, but I don't want it to burn, and it's pretty brown. So I'm going to start checking it 15 minutes, and then after that, probably every 10 minutes. Okay, this one is the one that has less on it, and you can see it's really quite dark, so it's getting done quicker because there's less material on the tray. So I probably, after the next round, will take this out, and I may set the timer for 10 minutes so I can check on this one actually. I don't think this one's going to take that much longer. It's still a little bit moist, but not much, and it was on the bottom shelf, which tends to be darker in my oven. So I'm going to put this one back in and then check it in 10 minutes because this tray may be done. Okay, so it finished cooking and I took it out of the oven and I'm letting it cool. It cooked for, I think, about 65, 70 minutes. The recipe says 75, but I don't know, maybe my oven just cooks faster, but it's pretty brown and I didn't want it to burn. I didn't want it to start tasting burnt, for one thing, if it got too dark. But it is like a dark golden brown, and you just let it sit here, and as it cools, it will crisp up more and get nice and, granola texture and kind of stick together. And then when it's cool, I will scrape it off with the spatula and I store it in mason jars. So I'll come back when it's nice and cool. Okay, so I made the granola and I got it out of the oven, and I told you I was going to let it cool and I'd come back. Well, the footage from me packaging it up and doing the next segment, the sound didn't work. I don't know what happened, but when I went to edit my video, the sound in that clip wasn't working. So today, which is a few days later, I made another batch, and I'll show you what you do at the end of making this. So I have the tray here. It's cooled sufficiently, and I just basically break it up with my spatula so it's all nice and crumbly. And just loosen it off the pan. And then I just scoop it, and you'll see it gets like nice little clumps, just like granola you get at the store. So there's some little clumps and bigger clumps, and just however it breaks up is how I eat it. And I just basically pile it. I use mason jars. I have these screw caps that I bought for mason jars. I think they're linked in another video of mine, but I could put the link with this one. I get them on Amazon, but I like them because they have little silicone seals, so it makes it nice and airtight so things don't go stale. So anyway, I just pour it in here. I like to use my wide mouth canning funnel. It just helps keep the mess at a minimum. Not completely at a minimum, but anyway, so I just pile it into the jars. And then I just seal it up. And I mean, we had out of the batch, it made 3-quart jars full. And my kids have been eating, I've been eating it too, and my husband, but my one son will just sit there and snack on it. I finally said to him, instead of just eating a whole jar, why don't you put some in a bowl and have like a set amount? But he likes it. I have one kid that won't touch it because it has pumpkin seeds in it, but whatever. All right, so that's one jar. And I could probably shake that and get it a little bit more in the jar, but it's okay. So I'm just going to pack it up. Now, you can put whatever you want in this granola. It's very flexible. If you, like I said, I use coconut oil mixed with olive oil. You could use whatever oil you want. If you can't have coconut, leave it out. If you don't want nuts, you can just add a bunch of different seeds. You could add, I've done it before actually. I doesn't have any right now, but I've done sunflower seeds. You can pretty much do any kind of mix of seeds and things that you want. So you can make it nut free, you can make it coconut free. I've never tried it without using the honey, but you could, if you're like, if you don't use honey, you could probably just use all maple syrup. You'll just get a more mapley flavor. I think it's pretty flexible. And I will say that when I have seen like gluten-free granolas mixes and cereal mixes in the grocery store, they're not very big bags and they're fairly expensive. So even with the price of getting the sprouted oats and the nuts and everything, you're getting a lot more for a similar amount of money that you'd pay for one small bag. Okay. I'm going to grab the other trays. I'm going to go ahead and fill my jars, and I will come back and show you how I use it in some different applications. I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so I packed up all the granola and I have my jars, and there was a little bit left that didn't fit in the jars. So I'm going to show you, I make a little, like, use it with my yogurt and some berries. So we make our own yogurt. We get milk from a farm, like raw milk. And so we make yogurt in our Instapot with our milk, and we like it pretty thick, so we drain quite a bit of the whey out of it. So anyway, I have some homemade, it's just plain yogurt, no sweetener, no nothing. Here, and then because it's not sweetened at all, I put a little bit of maple syrup on it. Just drizzle some on. And then I love raspberries on my yogurt. Like, they're my favorite berry on my yogurt. Although strawberries, blueberries are all good. I love berries. So anyway, I have some organic raspberries. And then just top it with some granola. And it's a yummy snack or breakfast. There we go. And it makes a great little snack or breakfast. This will probably be shared with my husband because it's more than I want to eat before dinner. But anyway, so some other things I do with the granola is I put dried fruit in it and make trail mix. So you can put any combination of dried fruit in there, and it's wonderful for going on a trip or snack, or you can even add chocolate chips or whatever you like. So that's it. Sometimes we just eat it in a bowl like cereal. I actually had that the other day for breakfast. I didn't feel like digging for the yogurt in the fridge, so I had some of this in a bowl, and I poured some homemade nut milk over it, and then I put raspberries on it, and it was delicious. Anyways, so that's the granola tutorial. I hope you try making it. It's delicious and much more economical to make it yourself, and you know exactly what's in it. So anyways, have a wonderful day, and goodbye and good luck.